can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
I'm Jim Rossetti, co-host of the Integrity Investing Podcast series. And as the song says, I can see clearly now. And as we explore the two entirely different worlds of investing, default versus scientific, you will see clearly which of the two worlds that you're living in right now. This series of podcasts will open your eyes and enable you to enjoy real peace of mind, as well as clearly understand your true purpose for money, and to empower and equip you and your family to live the life you love and deserve. And now here's your host of Integrity Investing, author, entrepreneur, CEO of Veritas Investment Services, certified financial educator, financial coach, and host of this podcast series, Margaret Wittkopp. Okay, Margaret. Yeah, we were talking here on the subject of market timing, and I think I interrupted you just as you were giving your explanation. So, but it was
a good subject.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, here's the thing about market timing. A couple of things. One, you never feel like you're timing. People will say, "Oh, I don't market time," but now is different. Politics are different. Circumstances are different. The market's too high. The market's too low. Things are changed. The world is different than it was before. Well, over and over and over again, people who get caught up in thinking that they can predict the future or know what's going to happen next will try to get out when they think it's good or get out before it drops, and they inevitably shoot themselves in the foot and hurt themselves.
Yeah.
And this has been proven.
We're in an election year right now, so I think a lot of people are probably going to be sitting there thinking, now's the time to get out. Let the election happen, and let's see what the future brings, and then we'll come back in.
Here's the problem. Here's one of the biggest problems with market timing, and again, that's one of those telltale signs that you're speculating and gambling with your money.
Right.
And I think that's the first thing you need to decide. You have to decide that it's not smart to speculate and gamble with your money. Right. So how do you handle circumstances of life? Elections, wars, ups and downs, whatever. Stuff you don't even know about. We didn't know COVID was going to come. We didn't know about the mortgage problems when they popped in. Okay. Well, we'll get to the solution in a minute, but let's talk about the mindset. The human behavior that is indicated here is very normal.
Right.
If I saw a fire, I think I'd want to call the fire department and get it doused, right? Put out the fire.
If it's my house, I hope so.
Sure, of course. But the thing is, people think they see a fire where there is no fire. And when you have a truly diversified portfolio, academically diversified portfolio, that's another area. People think they're diversified and they're not. But let's hold on that thought. But a truly diversified portfolio, really structured properly, all of the asset classes aren't down at once. And you use your good sense, or you use a methodology of rebalancing it. So the anecdote for market fluctuation is not to jump out or not to try to guess what part of the market's going to go up next or down next. Just let the market work for you and rebalance the portfolio and stay steady Eddie. Stay steady and you'll be okay over the long term. There have been studies that have shown that over 5,000 investing days, if you missed just 10 of them, you just 10 of the good days, the really good days. See, that's the other side of the coin. You don't know if you're worried about a market drop, you don't know when the market's going to also spike up. And it usually happens very unannounced and very quickly. So the market, it's not like a steady Eddie, drop off or down. And then, that doesn't happen that way.
Gives us time to run.
Yeah. You don't get
it's
an announcement.
one of the things in the 2-day event that was pointed out so well. They showed it, actuality. Yeah. If you had pulled out of the market here, look what happened in the next.
Oh, yes. We gave actual graphs and things when people were telling people to get out of the market. That was back in 2007, 2008. We had a lot of those talking heads telling people to get out, and then what they missed on the market recovery. Yeah. A real shame. And I hear this all the time. Mm-hmm. But going back to I want to just explain, if you miss just five of those days, you brought your return in half. If you missed 30 of them, just 30 out of 5,000 days, you have to try to figure out when is the up day. You have to be in the market to get the up.
Right. It's kind of the old adage, you left money laying on the table.
Exactly.
You left the game.
You actually lose money if you miss 30 of those of the best days. And you never know when, again, you can't predict the future. You can't predict what the market's going to do. And if you miss a really strong uprise, you miss the whole game. So my job oftentimes is in the world of coaching people, and that is to help them understand the dynamics of the market so that they don't panic and get out. They don't panic in one area or even move money out of international into U.S., out of U.S. into international, buy a China fund or, all of this stuff to me now, as I understand more after 30 some years and seen the devastation, that's also what working with someone should bring that to the table for you is experience. I've seen some devastating events and things that people have done, and I've heard many sad stories about people who jumped out or got devastated in 2007, 2008, and were with a firm that speculated and gambled with their money in the manner of picking stocks or all that, trying to guess which way things were going, or having too much money in just U.S. stocks, U.S. large cap stocks, and then all of a sudden everything falls apart on them. And they don't recover. They don't recover because, why didn't they recover? Well, they recovered probably really slowly, but the recovery was not, quick and easy on them. If they had any recovery, some people didn't recover at all, either because they quit. In other words, they just couldn't handle the frustration of it and didn't understand markets, so they jumped out. Or they didn't recover because they weren't diversified and didn't have asset classes that actually did help to shore them up and came back quickly, etc. So you can't look at any one market, any one part of the market and try to guess which it's going, and much less look at all of the different parts of the market and figure out where they're all going at the same time. So better to use the academic principles to engineer the portfolio. 3-factor model, we talked about that. The factors that create a properly structured, engineered portfolio, that's really important. That's what people should be focused on.
Yeah,
and
it was
things in balance.
It was interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing, there was about 400 people on that virtual 2-day event.
Actually, there were more than that because a lot of them were couples, so you could probably not quite double, but yeah.
But it was amazing how many people shared how they had lost money by jumping out at the wrong time and timing the market. Actually, you heard from people who had done that. So if you're sitting, and a lot of them, couldn't even take all the questions from as many as wanted to volunteer that. But,
Yeah.
so
Absolutely, Jim. That
Yeah.
is the heartache of this business is
Yeah.
that really good people, hardworking people, probably people who are listening to our podcast, I would think
Right.
might be in that group. You work so hard for your money, and you sacrifice so much of your life to create a life for your family, for your dreams, and hopefully you're doing work you enjoy. That's one thing I would hope. But not everyone is. Some people are not doing work they enjoy. They're just doing it to keep the family fed and clothed and housed, and they want to get ahead in life. And there's nothing better than the world of equities and markets to help you achieve those goals and
Sure.
to build towards putting a kid through school, work towards putting a good retirement when you can
Right.
actually retire from the day-to-day grind, if you would, or the day-to-day responsibility of getting up and going to work, and can actually enjoy your life and do some other things in life, do the things you've always wanted to, and then to have that robbed from you because you didn't have a good investment strategy or didn't understand or were stuck in whatever came along.
Well, I'm a strong believer, Marge, in coaching, and I think the scientific program that we're talking about, that you are involved in, is the coaching part of it. Is just absolutely
Yes.
a missing piece in that other default world. Sometimes they don't want to hear from you. Once a year we'll check in with each other and that's it. Passive, you said, like at the beginning, we used to, how people are so passive. But I love the coaching. I think the coaching is a vital part of the experience.
And the difference between coaching and in my world, or in the world that I live in with, hundreds and thousands of others. I mean, there are lots of people doing what we're doing. The coaching is a way of helping to educate. To think of it just like any coach. I mean, like if you're coaching a baseball team, you learn to hit the ball, you learn to run the bases, you learn the rules of the game, and you learn how to slide in, maybe even how to slide into first base or slide into home, or how to, all of that. And a good coach takes all that you are and makes it better, makes you better and better and better at what you're doing.
Right.
So that's what we focus on. We don't just sell a product and let you run away.
I was one of the interviews I saw on the 2-day event. They referred to the one with Michael Phelps, the big gold medal winner, probably the all-time biggest gold, and he gives a lot of the credit to the coaching that he had along the way. He said there was things that you don't see that are going on in the swimming competition, and but through effective coaching, it makes adjustments for some of those, and you win. But I look at coaching as being, and any successful team usually can attribute a lot of their success to the coaching.
And most advisors in our world would take a person's money without any actual education, and in our firm we don't. We don't want you to just invest with us just to get your money. It doesn't help you, and it certainly ends up being not good for us either, because but the most important thing is it really doesn't help you. If you do that, you really are missing the whole boat. You're missing the fact that, our portfolios might perform just fine, but you're missing the piece that could give you the peace of mind and the stick-to-itiveness and the discipline that's required for successful investing. One of years ago, there was a kind of a hotshot investment guy, Peter Lynch, and his lament at the end of his career was that most people, even though his his portfolio, which I think, anyway, it was a famous mutual fund, supposedly did great returns. Well, he said his greatest regret was that most of the people who invested in him or in his portfolio didn't make the returns that were available to them. Now, that's one of those deceptions that people buy when something is shown great returns, and then they jump out when it's down, and they lack discipline. And it's not their fault. They really don't know how to look at this world. It's like, they didn't know you needed to, after you hit the ball, you got to really run the base to get on base.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Integrity Investing. We hope to see you again.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright